Hi, everyone. This is Michael Ben-Ghiat with Lifetime Investor, and this is a Stock Picks weekend review video for March 4th, 2023. Okay, let's go ahead and get started right into it. We're going to review the current market environment first. We don't have any stocks in portfolio. We got stopped out of all of them, which tells you something right there. And then we're going to go through the remaining stocks on our watch and ready list. Okay, so we're still in the stock environment indicator. It is still on red. We're just in a poor market environment. You have to if you're a stock investor, you have to somewhat ignore the indexes. The indexes could be blasting off to the moon, but stocks could just be acting overall poorly. And the indexes can be driven, like we've seen for a long time. I've talked about this many, many times. Driven by the mega caps in some large caps. And so some of the indexes are price weighted. Some of them are, weighted differently. And so you can just get a few stocks pushing up the indexes while the rest of them are not doing very well at all. So, and that's what's happening right now. We're looking at all those leading stocks, the stocks that are at the highest relative strength. They're the leaders. They're not, making 52-week lows or all-time lows. They're making, 52-week highs, all-time highs. Despite what the indexes are doing. So these are the best of the best, and they're just not working out very well. There's too much volatility, and it's causing stocks to be whipsawed. And of course, we had earnings or wrapping up, and just, you never knew what was going to happen on earnings. So many stocks just really just plunged. They'd open up nice and just plunge during the day, sometimes not even on earnings. So that volatility has just been making it very difficult to be able to hold on to anything for much longer. And in the second part of it, we're just not seeing, stocks that do break out and hold really go anywhere. To get a 20% gain is, there aren't really that many stocks that have even made 20%. So it's a crappy environment. That's all I can know how to say it. So we're just basically, we're holding off, waiting for the Easter CR environment indicator to turn yellow before we start creeping back in. So we're just kind of watching. I do have a big list, and you should too, of just stocks that you've maybe seen in our lists. They've broken out. Maybe you didn't buy them. Again, we don't buy everything on the list because we may already have had enough in our portfolio that we don't want more exposure. But of course, for subscribers that are coming in, at any time, then we always showing them, hey, this one's ready to go. This one's, so we do track those. The ones that have kind of broken out, and we'll write that, hey, we took it off the ready list because it already moved past the buy zone. We'll track those, and just not seeing a lot of progress, and a lot of them have given back, all of the gains from a breakout and more. So that's where we are. Unfortunately, we can't control the market. We can just control how we react to the market. And we're just not getting what we need to see to be able to get aggressive and where we can really start making some money. So let's just go ahead and start with our ready list. We just have a couple stocks. The first one is Lamb Weston. I personally own this. I did buy the breakout, but really the stock broke out over here and just has really not doing much. But this has been a really nice winner. And again, I've talked about this multiple times. If I'm boring you, you'll hear it one more time again today. That, people always they go, oh, I'm just going to buy these sexy tech stocks. And, those are the ones that can make these huge moves. Well, this Lamb Weston, they deal with frozen potatoes. And, you can see here, look, this stock is in less than a year, it's gone up over 100%. So for a stock that's just considered a boring, I'll take a 100% move, any day. And really not a ton of volatility on this, just really a nice grinding higher overall. And there's been a few other little buy points along the way. So anyways, this had really nice tight trading here, in it, but we're just not much up on it. I think up 1% or something like that. So, but that's looking pretty good. And look at the earnings and sales. We're going into triple digits now. Margins increasing, the sales increasing. It's not a small company. This is a $14 billion company. So there's don't discount potatoes in the stock market. Okay, next one is UFP Technology. Ticker is UFPT. Now this one is we talked about this a little bit. I put it in the notes. It's one of the rare stocks, you don't see this very often, where you get expanding and accelerating earnings, sales, and margins. So if you look here in MarketSmith, which is really handy with these charts, you can see the last 4 quarters. But you can see here in the earnings, we had minus 24, then we went to 1689, 412%, and sales 25, 47, 86, 91. Now that's really incredible sales. And the margins have increased too. So this is really one of the best, most powerful setups you can find. And when you normally see this in a good market, you don't see this very often, as you see these stocks really just blast off. Also, you can see here just an annual earnings. We've broken above $1 and $2, and now last year we went up to 446. Little drop this year, but still that's a really big 100% move from where we were just 2 years ago. And interesting, this company is in the containers and packaging industry group, so it's not really a tech stock either, but really making a nice move, another 100% mover since March. So in a year, kind of like Lamb Weston, even kind of looks like it. So despite what the S&P's been doing, this stock's been really, heading higher. You can even see here as the S&P's been going lower, this one kind of bottomed out, stopped going down. And as soon as the market turned up here, this thing just blasted off on earnings. So really good looking stock there. On our long-term outperformer list, we have now our former position in automatic data processing, ADP. This is, we had a stop just below. Let's see, this isn't, looks like they're, yeah, the low didn't take. We had it at 218.40. We bought it just at let's go to the monthly chart. At support at this 21 month, which actually didn't hold. And it ended up just turning around, got hit resistance at its 21 day. You can see that's this green line, which is really sharply moving down, and just came down enough, stopped everybody out just below this. And of course, it went straight back up. Unfortunately, this happens a lot. It is actually in the buy zone, so that's why it's on the ready list. So it could be that, you can't be afraid to go back into a stock if you got kicked out. That's a hallmark of professionals that, whatever happened in a previous trade, they just brush it off and just go, that's it. Many times the stock might kick you out 2 or 3 times. And the 4th time turns out to be the one that, goes up, hundreds of percent. So you can't be afraid to go back in. So this one is, it just kicked us out, but we had a very tight controlled loss. That is also available, but ready to go. I would actually prefer it to see if we can get above this 21 day substantially, because it seems to be, it's been actually, this whole decline hasn't been able to do much. It got above it a couple days here when that was really it. So a little on the weak side. So let's go to our watch list. The first one is YPF ticker, and that's YPF Sociedad Anónima ADR. They're an Argentine company in the oil and gas area. This one, you can see here, we kind of had a nice move at $2 up to $12. That's a really $2.82. Sorry, $3 we'll call it. Still nice triple going on there. The stock has made a little consolidation base here. It was kind of getting tight here, and it's been kind of going on and off of our watch and ready lists. Kind of broke down a little bit, shook out some weak hands, and it's come back up. We're trying to get this right about 12.10 when it's clearing out most of this here, except for these few days. So we'll see if it can get above that. But again, this is just a tricky market. Nothing seems to stay on the list for long before they fall off. Another one, interesting enough, another Argentine company. This one's also in the pipelines area. This is Transportadora del Gas del Sur. This one was also setting up a nice tight pattern, and it's starting to leak off the bottom here. Earnings are in 5 days. It's starting to get a little, break down a little bit. We're still, could be a shakeout, but we're going to be watching this one. It could, if it just shakes us out, it could be what's been happening. Either it plunges down into earnings and then blasts off, with a 20% move on earnings, or it runs up into earnings and then it's like gone. Yes, you didn't buy it. Now you don't want to buy it extended. It's been a very tricky market. We see this over and over. Okay, next one is ticker ATRO, Astronics. Now they're in an aerospace defense. Now this one, I'm keeping it on here because this is typical what happened. Just plunged during the day. I think this was close to a 20% plunge, and then on earnings, and then came all the way right back. So this is actually really constructive in that it shook out everybody that was a weak holder. They all in the high volume too. So it all got shook out. So we want to see if this can set up again, right around here again and be ready to go. Because now we got rid of a lot of the weak players. So that's what happens. See, if a stock looks terrible, you never just give up on it and say that's the end of it. You always want to keep watching them because you never know. They very quickly they just come back. Before you know it, there's that stock again. And if you've been with us for any length of time, you'll see the same names pop up all the time. Sometimes they break out and they just eventually form another base, and so we try to buy it. Sometimes they plunge and then they just come back, and then then you're ready to go, maybe even near the same price of the original one. And then other times, they never show up again because they just keep going down, and basically that's the stock is done for the time being. Okay, next one is Covenant Logistics Group, Transportation Truck Industry Group. This one is forming. Let's see, we're trying to get it to a little bit above this. Yeah, to clear out this right here. Actually, we want to get above the last couple days on. So we're just forming. We had another look. Earnings shakeout, just plunged on earnings and just came right back. Now we're starting to come up and make this right side. So this is almost like an early entry. We want to get in above this. And now we do have some overhead resistance. If we were to get in, say around here, when you look left on the chart, you do see there's a bunch of selling that happened between 40 and 37. So these trades can work out really well, especially in this market where it just seems like they just go, once they start going, they just rip and they keep going. But you do have to contend with sellers that, they bought up here and now they want to get their money back. So they call that overhead resistance. So we'll be watching that one. A couple more. We have Globe Life Insurance. This one too, it's been trying, you can see it never gets to about 123. Look at all these down spikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's sellers lurking around there. So we have our buy 123.50, which is basically clearing out almost all of this, except for a couple little spikes. So that's where we're trying to buy that. But we'd like to see that since there's been quite a bit of resistance up here to get it on nice high volume. We are past earnings, so that's good. We don't have to worry about that. And the selling has really just been, nothing really high volume, so it's looking pretty good. Again, it's a company that's probably not on your radar, but we've seen quite a few life insurance companies sort of pop up. Okay, last one is Warner Brothers Discovery. Apparently they've merged in recent years, or recent. I think they merged last year, maybe even. Yeah, it's recent. This one is kind of like an early company that we don't normally. You can actually just see when you see this 200-day just coming down at sharp angle. That's an ugly chart. So this is a really early turn, but we're starting to see really some very strong sales. Not so much on the earnings side. So we want to kind of keep our eye on it. So this would be, there's still a lot of resistance, but it's getting to go back about a year. So it's still there. So this is I'd say a little more on the risky side, but we have started to turn. We got the 50 just now crossing above the 200. This is starting to flatten out. So this would be really a kind of an early entry. But if we can get in above, we have from 16 to 1640, we could have a nice chance for this to go up. And did mention that, the sales, actually, let me go back to the weekly chart. You can actually see a little better. And now that they've combined, look at the sales in billions. We've gone from 2.8 and just, it was March 2021, and now we're at 11 billion. So really added a lot of scale there, and probably a lot of debt too. But anyways, it does look like maybe this is actually bottomed out here and could start to make a move high. So that's a name. Yeah, again, we don't normally play these really early ones, but it's starting to look pretty constructive and it's trading tight here. That's it. This is a shorter week than the most. There's no positions to go over because we got kicked out of all of them. And so that's it. Well, we'll be back next week and we'll see what these names do. Now, again, we always add, if you're watching this on YouTube or something, we're always adding names during the week. Things change really quickly. So, I'd highly encourage you to give it a try. We have a 7-day trial. You can always use that and see what it's all about on a day-to-day basis. And well, that's it. Okay, we'll be back next weekend with more. Okay, thanks a lot.